fifth years and the seniors were here when you got here, but do you feel like you were in their living room 6 years ago talking to high school kids? Is that the relationship you were able to build with them?
It is, and I said that to the team today, and I showed some clips. I mean, now it's kind of interesting when you get ready for, the senior days. You have like 6-year super seniors, you have 5th-year seniors with eligibility, you have 4th-year seniors. So there's a whole mix of guys, but yeah, it's a special group that I've been with now through a lot since the time I got here. I mean, you look at some of those guys like Valdez, who's been here forever, and De Palma, who's been here forever, and there's a lot of them, and we've formed great relationships, and I feel really close to them for sure. I mean, guys like Jason, who was obviously just in here, there's so many of them, and I don't want to leave obviously any out, but I do. I feel really close with them. They'll always be very meaningful for me, becoming a first-time head coach, and being with those guys, for the first 3 years. It's a special group, and that's why this is important. This game, they just go empty it all out for the seniors. Whether they're back next year, whether they go to the NFL, whether some don't play football and go get great jobs, we got to empty the tank for these guys and just give everything that we have in practice and in this game, and not leave anything else out there, because they deserve that.
Do you plan to play more seniors than usual, or is the usual starters, or what's your plan? We'll
play the usual starters. That's the plan right now for sure. A lot of those guys are playing. There's a lot of injuries too. When you look at who really has, no eligibility left, a lot of those guys are playing. If not, a lot of them are on special teams. And if not, we'll definitely get them in. That is important too.
Just with team psyche, just winning 2 straight ACC games would be something that would at least carry.
Yeah, I think winning the last game, playing well. I thought we had momentum after Duke, which bled in NC State, and then obviously the last game was not. You'd like to play well, you'd like to have momentum, you'd like to win the game, and something to build on for a lot of the young guys going forward, feeling good going into the offseason. More importantly, you'd like for the guys who will never play again to sing the fight song in the locker room on the last time, and just having that feeling. It's one you'll never forget when you play your last down, the last time you put on a helmet, the last time you take off your shoulder pads. It will be emotional, and we want to do everything we can to make sure it's a good day for those guys.
Okay, good.
You go, Rich.
I was just looking over Syracuse. This looks like the most balanced team you're playing.
You run and pass?
Yeah.
I think the running back is, no disrespect, we've played good running backs. I think he's as good as any running back that we've played all year. I mean, he's an NFL back. He's patient, he stays square, he's strong, he can accelerate, he breaks tackles, he makes people miss, he can hit the home run, he catches the ball out of the backfield. The wide receiver's really big, long, goes up and gets the ball. He's had a really, really good year, Gadsden. And then the quarterback, I know he's been hurt a little bit, but what improvement from a year. And that's no disrespect to how he played last year. But him as a passer, throwing the ball, accuracy, he's got a really high completion percentage. He's a tough kid. I remember seeing him at ACC media. He's big. I mean, he's a big, big man, and he runs hard. So it's kind of like a three-headed monster, not to take away from the rest of them, because I think they have some really good wide receivers as well. They're deep at wide out. But those 3 guys are special players, and that's what I think makes them balanced. Look, they started off as hot as anybody in the country. I think, what were they ranked as high as? I mean, they were in the top 15 at one point.
When they beat NC
State.
Right.
So they've had some big wins, and I'm sure they're trying to do the same thing we are, finish with a win and get some momentum.
You talked about it before, but more about the senior leadership during a tough season, just how they've stabilized you guys and just been there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like if you came out to practice there, you could hear the guys right now. It's as if we were practicing, getting ready for the biggest game we've played since we've been here, and it's because of those guys. Because the younger guys, they don't know what, they're just going out and trying to figure it all out. But I mean, when Zay Flowers, who's a Blitnikoff semifinalist and one of the all-time leading receivers in Boston College history, and in my opinion, should be the top receiver in the country, when he's going out there practicing 100 miles an hour and smiling and laughing and giving everything, it says a lot more than someone rah-rah and yelling and screaming. It's just work, and it's very impressive, and there's a lot of guys like that. Marcus Valdez is we know how banged up he is, but he practiced today like he was getting ready to play in the ACC championship game, and Vinny DePalma, and there's a lot of guys like that, and that's what makes it. Pat Garlow, and that's what makes the senior leadership special, and that's what makes this an emotional game. Is because, yeah, it hasn't been perfect, but there's no quit and there's resiliency, and that's going to propel us into the future. And I really believe that, and it's going to show these young players what it's supposed to look like, whether it's good or bad. And I'm grateful for that. And that is a huge bright spot for me in a very hard season.
Back to Syracuse again. I was looking, 30 sacks, 67 TFLs. Just what is their defense? Is aggressive?
It's aggressive in its scheme. I think he does a good job. They're different. They'll play a lot of 3 down. They'll get in a bear. They'll play over and under, but they'll run a lot of games up front. They'll blitz a lot of different people. They'll bring their safeties down tight. They're very, very aggressive. Very aggressive. I respect their nose. I think he's 45. He is a throwback, tough, disruptive football player. And I got a lot of respect for him, and I think their coordinator does a really good job.